What's up guys, Brokowskis back again with another YouTube video. Today we got rest of season quarterback rankings. Make sure you guys hit the subscribe, hit the like button. We're going to try to hit 100 likes on this video, and when we hit that, we'll come out with tight ends right next. Let's get right into the list.
At quarterback number 1, we got Josh Allen. This guy just came off the worst game of his season by far. He literally just lost to the Jaguars and only could put up 6 offensive points. But in fantasy football, he does average over 24 fantasy points per game. He has a pretty safe rushing floor, averaging almost 40 rushing yards a game. Plus, he scores a lot of touchdowns, so he's the great option for your fantasy team at the QB1.
At QB2, we got Tom Brady. He does not offer the rushing upside or any of that stuff, but he is so safe in his passing numbers. This year, he's putting up so many passing touchdowns, so many passing yards. That Bucs offense is looking so good. Tom Brady is such a safe option, and he's the QB2 rest of the season.
Coming in at the QB3, we have Lamar Jackson. This guy is averaging over 24 fantasy points per game this year. He's an absolute stud. His rushing floor is so high because he gets so many rushing yards. His playoff schedule isn't great for the fantasy finals or fantasy playoffs, so you don't love that. But with his rushing floor and his points per game, he's a great option at the QB3.
At QB4, we got Jalen Hurts. He might not be the best quarterback in real life, but he is a great fantasy quarterback. The rushing upside is there every single week. Plus, he has an amazing fantasy playoff schedule. He is one of probably the best in the league. So that's awesome. You love to see that. And for the most part, he's been super consistent. He's had 2 down-ish games the last 2 weeks, but we expect him to go right back to the 20-plus points every single week.
At QB5, we have Patrick Mahomes. This guy has not had the best year so far. He does even have 21 fantasy points per game. He has about 20.5. But with Patty, you expect him to get better. You expect this offense to get better. They're playing at an all-time low for the Chiefs over the past 3 years. They've not been looking great. So those numbers should go up. He has great receivers like Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce, so he is our QB5 rest of the year.
At QB6, we got Matthew Stafford. He's coming off a bit of a down game in which he also suffered a mild ankle sprain, so that is something to keep an eye on. But we still think Stafford is a great option. The Rams' offense has been awesome this year. The connection with Cooper Kupp has been outstanding. Matthew Stafford, for the most part, is a pretty safe floor with all the passing yards and passing touchdowns. So we think he's a great option at QB6 the rest of the season.
At QB number 7, we have Kyler Murray. This guy started off the season so well with 2 straight 30-plus performances. Other than that, though, he hasn't looked spectacular for fantasy. DeAndre Hopkins is dealing with an injury, and also Kyler's dealing with an injury. He did miss last game. This injury is a bit concerning, so that's why he's not in our top 5. He's a QB7.
QB8, we got Justin Herbert. He's been kind of wildly inconsistent this year as he's had a game over 40 points and he's had 4 games under 15. But he is such a great quarterback and he plays on such a good offense that the upside is there every single week. And even if you have to deal with the inconsistencies, he's still a top 10 quarterback rest of the season for fantasy.
At number 9, we have Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott has been looking good, but I think a little worse than we all expected. He has been dealing with a bit of an injury that sat him out 1 game. The Cowboys are more of a rushing team than a lot of people expected. Last year, Dak was just told out there to go and throw the ball 50 times. It's not really the same offense this year. They're more run heavy. His upside is not as high this year because they don't throw the ball as much, but he's still a great QB option at the QB9.
At QB10, we got Aaron Rodgers. Again, another guy with very little rushing upside, but he does throw so many touchdowns and the passing yards are there every single week. He's such a safe play. He's usually not going to have a bust game. Week 1 was a bit of an outlier, but he's been on fire since that game. So we trust Aaron Rodgers going forward as our number 10 quarterback.
At QB11, we have Joe Burrow. This guy has such an insane connection with Jamar Chase. He also has T. Higgins, who he has a pretty good connection with. This guy has a lot of games over 20 fantasy points. He just doesn't make our top 10, but he's a super solid play for your fantasy team.
At number 12, we got Russell Wilson. He's missed the past month with a finger injury, but he should be coming back soon. He's always a solid play in fantasy football. He does have a tendency to fall off second half of the year, but the Seahawks are going to be in a desperate mode to win right now and to make the playoffs, so we could see Russell going off the second half of the season.
At QB13, we have Captain Kirk Cousins. This guy's averaging a bit more than 19 fantasy points per game. He's a solid play for your team. He's not going to put up the highest numbers, but he does have a pretty safe floor with his passing yards and touchdowns. He has a good connection with Justin Jefferson and Adam Thielen, so he's a good play every week at our QB13.
At 14, we got Derek Carr. He's been having a bit of an up and down season as the Raiders have been going through a lot of off-the-field drama, but he still has been putting up good fantasy points, and he has an amazing fantasy schedule the rest of the season. So you want to pick him up. If you need a quarterback, Derek Carr is a great option the rest of the year.
At number 15, we have Carson Wentz. He is a part of a run-heavy scheme, so a lot of games he's not going to have those insane passing yards or passing touchdown numbers. But some games when they're down, he does throw it a lot to Michael Pittman and some of his other targets. He is a solid fantasy play. He's not great, not bad. He ends at our QB15.
And at number 16, we reserve the spot for Taysom Hill. If he ends up becoming the Saints starter, He is a great play for fantasy. As last year in the 4 games he played, he had multiple games with multiple rushing touchdowns. He has that upside. Again, if he becomes a starter, he's going to be higher than 16. We just don't know if he's going to start.
And boys, thanks for watching till the end of the video. If you did, comment this keyword and we'll like and reply to your comment. And also, boys, make sure you guys subscribe because we're coming out with the tight end ranking soon. And we're just coming out with more fantasy videos to help you win your championship. Thanks, boys, for watching.